Hello and welcome to our channel, Cheating Exposed. Today, we're revealing another story. My kids knew about my wife's affair and helped her cover it up. So, let's get started. Last week, while my wife 49 female was taking a shower, I 50 male saw a notification pop up on her phone. Thinking it was one of our daughters, Maddy 24 female and Alice 26 female, confirming what time their girls' dinner was, I went to open it. Instead, I saw an unsaved number saying, "I can't wait to see you," followed by a kissing emoji. I froze for a second. I clicked on the message and saw a short thread, mostly confirming dinner plans for that evening and how they missed each other. The message also mentioned how once a week just wasn't enough. At that moment, my world came crashing down. 29 years of marriage down the drain. Hoping to catch her in a lie before she left the house, I texted both our daughters and asked them about the girls' dinner. What happened next broke me to my core. Both girls confirmed the dinner and even said they were excited. I couldn't believe it. I'm not proud of what came next. I turned her location sharing on with me in her phone and let her leave. I followed her to a restaurant, and lo and behold, neither daughter was there. Instead, I saw a man I knew, her boss. I was so heartbroken. A part of me was hoping I was just a paranoid freak and my daughters would actually be there, happy to see me. But no. There she was, my cheating wife, sitting with her affair partner. I took pictures of the two of them holding hands and kissing. I know I should have waited, but I couldn't help myself. I was so angry. As soon as I got into my car, I opened the group chat we had as a family, sent them all the photos, and wrote, "Glad you're enjoying girls' dinner together." I then turned my phone off and drove to my brother's house, asking to stay the night. The next morning, I woke up to over 40 texts and 20 voicemails. My wife went through the cheater's playbook of excuses, but I didn't even listen to her voicemails. I was about to respond with, "I will be getting a divorce, I recommend a lawyer." But my brother stopped me. He advised me to meet with a bunch of lawyers first to make sure she couldn't use them. Instead, I just sent a simple message to the group chat, "I am physically fine but need time. I will come home when I'm ready." Then, I muted my phone. That morning, I started calling different lawyers who appeared to be the best in town. I scheduled appointments with several of them, met with all, and eventually chose the one who seemed ready to treat this situation as scorched earth. After spending the entire day with lawyers, I finally looked through the messages on my phone. Both my daughters were apologizing. My younger daughter, Maddy, the daddy's girl of the two, was manic. She had texted me nearly 50 times, saying she never should have lied and hated it every time. Her boyfriend even reached out, asking me to contact her. He said he didn't know what was going on, but she was on the verge of a panic attack. I decided to respond, "Maddy, I love you, but please understand that what you've done has hurt me deeply. I need you to give me space." Within seconds, she replied, "Okay, I'm so sorry. I never should have helped. I'll never forgive myself. I love you too." I didn't respond further. Alice, on the other hand, was different. While we always had a good relationship, she was a mama's girl through and through. She apologized but then added that I shouldn't throw away a good marriage because of one mistake. This made me furious. I replied, "Alice, this isn't a mistake, this is a betrayal from my whole family. Please don't reach out again until I make first contact." She never responded, but I know she showed my message to my STB soon-to-be ex, because my wife began telling me not to take this out on Alice. I ignored her. I'll never talk to Alice again except through lawyers. This all happened 5 days ago. I'm still at my brother's house and can't contain my feelings. Every morning, I wake up crying, and most of my day is spent oscillating between debilitating sadness and all-consuming anger. Losing my wife is hard enough, but how do I ever look at my children again? How do I even begin to forgive them? Alice is supposed to get married in the fall. I've been paying for almost everything, but now I'm probably not going to go. I don't even know how to move forward. I feel completely destroyed. First update. My soon-to-be ex-wife, Julie, 50F, and I are still going through the divorce proceedings. We were required to go through a 6-month legal separation before starting the divorce. After spending a week and a half at my brother's house, I moved back home. A week later, I served her with the legal separation papers to ensure I re-established our house as my legal residence. The terms of the separation were absolute hell. We had 1 year left on the mortgage, and the agreement stated that whoever stayed in the house would be responsible for the full payment for the year. Of course, Julie used her history as a stay-at-home mom against me. She had been a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, ever since Maddy started pre-K, a decision I was against at the time. Because of this, she was allowed to stay in the house, but we had to split the mortgage. I ended up moving into a 1-bedroom apartment. That's where I am writing this now. Maddy and I reconciled somewhat quickly. She came to the house and refused to leave until I talked to her. She didn't throw a fit or cause a scene, she just wouldn't leave. This went on for a couple of weeks. Her boyfriend, understandably annoyed, kept coming over and hated the awkwardness. But Maddy would simply say, in front of Julie and me, that she would not return to their apartment until she and I were speaking again. At the time, I found it incredibly annoying. I hated being in the house, and Julie and I were constantly fighting over the terms of the legal separation. Eventually, I unleashed some of my frustration onto Maddy. That's when she told me how she found out about the affair. Apparently, at an actual girls' dinner 2 weeks before I discovered everything, Julie had gotten quite drunk and let it slip. Alice tried to stop her, but couldn't. Both Alice and Julie then begged Maddy to keep quiet until Julie could come clean to me. Maddy was in tears as she confessed everything, telling me that she now realized her mom never had any intention of telling me the truth. According to Julie, she had planned to break things off with her affair partner and come clean to me that same night. The girls' dinner excuse was supposedly her first lie about the affair. We both sat there crying, and just as I was trying to process everything, Julie walked in and attempted to defend herself. That was it, I completely lost it. I yelled at her like I never had before, unleashing all the anger and betrayal I had been holding in. Maddy even had to calm me down. It wasn't just that Julie had manipulated me, she had used at least one of our daughters in her lies. That was unforgivable. In that moment, I made the decision to split the mortgage just to get Maddy and me out of the house. I couldn't stand to be there anymore. Maddy moved back in with her boyfriend that same night, and I immediately began searching for a new place to live. I eventually found my current 1-bedroom apartment, and Maddy even decorated it for me, which was a small but heartwarming silver lining in all this mess. Unfortunately, my relationship with Alice is still in ruins. After everything came to light, her fiancé called me, confused and looking for answers. He suspected that Alice might be cheating on him. I told him I had no reason to believe she was cheating, but I did reveal that my wife had cheated on me and that Alice had known about it before I did. I'm not exactly sure what happened next, but it ended with Alice and her fiancé breaking up. She blamed me for the fallout, saying I never should have told him anything. She came to my apartment in tears, blaming me for ruining her relationship, and then blocked me completely. We haven't spoken since. To make matters worse, I later discovered that Alice kept some of the money I had given her for wedding expenses. While I was able to recover some funds from vendors I dealt with directly, her lack of remorse and accountability makes it clear we may never have a relationship again. Alice and Julie are now living together at the house. Julie has started openly dating her boss, who left his firm after I caught them, likely to avoid losing his job. As embarrassing as it is to admit, I sometimes feel jealous, not of their relationship, but of not being lonely. Maddy, bless her heart, has been encouraging me to move on. She even helped me set up a dating profile, which was awkward to say the least. When my first match ended up being a 33-year-old single mom, Maddy teased me and called me a weirdo. She also encouraged me to go on a date with her, which is scheduled for next week. While I'm grateful for Maddy's support, I'm still not sure I'm ready to start over. The idea of dating again after nearly 30 years of marriage feels daunting. But maybe this is the first step toward rebuilding my life. Second update from my daughter Alice. After hearing my dad's side of the story, I can't believe how little he still knows. The weight of what I've kept inside for so long eats away at me every day. Maybe sharing my side will help me find some peace, or at least help someone understand the choices I made. It all started when I was 16, and my life as I knew it completely changed. My parents had just bought me a car, and one morning I forgot my backpack at home. Thinking no one would be there, I decided to swing back without calling ahead. But when I walked in, I found her. My mom. And him. Mike. They were fooling around in the living room. That image is burned into my memory, seeing more of them than I ever should have. It haunts me to this day. I panicked, yelled, and cried, demanding to know how my mom could do this to my dad. I was ready to tell him everything right then and there. That's when my mom stopped me with a single sentence that shattered my world: "Mike is your father." I froze, stunned, as my mom pulled me onto the couch to explain. Mike wasn't just her boss, he was her old boyfriend, her so-called true love. Before she met my dad, they had been in an on-again, off-again relationship filled with cheating and chaos. My dad had been her way out, the stable man she could marry and build a life with. But she never fully let go of Mike. She told me that after I was born, she secretly did a DNA test. While Maddy is my dad's daughter, I'm not. I'm Mike's. She said Mike would be open to having a relationship with me if I wanted it. But at 16, I didn't want anything to do with him, and honestly, I still don't. Learning the truth felt like losing half of myself, and nothing has ever replaced it. So why didn't I tell my dad? Because I couldn't bear to lose him too. If he found out the truth, I was terrified he'd look at me differently, or worse, cut me out of his life. I thought I could protect him and myself by keeping the secret. But my mom became reckless. She left her phone out on purpose for my dad to find, practically inviting the fallout. And when she blurted out the truth during dinner, I knew it was over. I knew I would lose my dad, and I did. When the divorce was finalized, Mike stepped in and paid my dad's half of the mortgage, but not out of generosity. He moved into my childhood home with his pregnant girlfriend. My mom was devastated, but she didn't have the strength to stand up to him. Now, she's stuck taking care of him while he continues to live however he pleases. It's pathetic, really. And yet, I'm no better. My dad told my ex-fiancé Brad about what I knew, and Brad accused me of being just like my mom. He left me, saying he couldn't trust me. At first, I hated him for it. But then I made the worst mistake of my life. I reached out to him in a moment of weakness. Brad has a girlfriend now, but he came over anyway. We slept together. I thought it meant we were back together, but afterward, he made it clear he wasn't leaving his girlfriend. He was willing to see me occasionally, but only on his terms. I said yes. I was so desperate for someone to care about me, to love me, even if it was just for one night. Now, I hate what I've become. I'm trapped in this cycle of loneliness and self-destruction. I love my dad, and I love Maddy, but I've lost both of them in so many ways. All I want is my life back, the life I had before I knew the truth. I know I was wrong. I know I was selfish. But I was scared, and everything I feared would happen did happen. And now, I don't know how to move forward. Final update. After many of you alerted me to Alice's post, I rushed over to her house. I banged on her apartment door until she let me in. She was bracing for a fight, but I just held her in a tight hug. Everything she had held in, everything she had been through, it felt like she let it all out over the next 2 hours. It was overwhelming. I told her that no matter what, she was my daughter, and we would get past this. It hasn't been easy. Alice, Maddy, and I all go to family therapy together, and I have my individual sessions as well. They are incredibly difficult. I know Alice has been through a lot, and she was just a kid, but the betrayal still cuts deep. When she's not around, I get so angry at her, but then I'm around her, and I remember she's just a human being like the rest of us. The guilt, shame, and lies have eaten at her. She finally dumped that two-timing loser ex of hers, but Maddy tells me she's not handling dating well. It's a total mess. I'm paying for her and Maddy's therapy, and I hope she can get better. Maddy and her boyfriend got engaged. He's been a real trooper with everything our family has been through. I knew he loved her when he accepted everything she needed with the family. He always showed up, was always there, and has helped her through everything. I'm so happy for them. Julie is a mess, and I can't help but laugh. As you know, Mike brought home his girlfriend and basically made Julie take care of her. And she did. She just does whatever he wants, and he wants her to do everything. I was out on a date the other night and saw Mike with some other woman. I'm sure Julie knew, and I just think it's hilarious. She will do anything for him, and he won't do anything for her. His girlfriend had the baby and then left, apparently. Mike is now making Julie take care of a newborn, and as far as I know, she's just doing it without question. She quit her job to be a stay-at-home caretaker, I guess? She's not even close to the woman I thought I knew. She's so dependent on him now that he can do whatever he wants, and she'll just accept it. She's tried calling me twice, but it's not my circus. She made her choices, and she'll have to live with them. As for me, I've probably become less sympathetic and more of an asshole. I went out with the single mom for a while, but all the drama with Alice turned her off. She didn't want her kids exposed to any more drama, and that's fair enough. With all the issues with Alice, I got closer to her friends, and one of them, a co-worker who's a few years older, started flirting with me and asked me out. We went out a few times and started dating last month. Alice is not happy about it, I can tell, and Maddy thinks our age gap is weird but hasn't stopped talking to me or anything. We'll see where it goes. Right now, my daughters won't confront me because of their actions. Life will never be the same. I'm more cynical than I was, but I have my daughters back, and I think I'll be all right. Well, folks, that's all. Thank you all for listening. Please like, comment, and share the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.